With one triangle on the floor, we'll expand it out. The TC will go here, so we'll start walling in from the side. At the front, we'll add a wall frame, which will most likely have a wooden door. After the roof, we'll place a TC, which should be close to this line, but not over it. The reason for this is after we put our first furnace, we still want to be able to fit a window frame in front. For our airlock, we'll use another double door. The first few items are usually a sleeping bag followed by a small box or two. These can go in the following spots. After smelting your first bits of metal, the first things I like to add are a large box, which can go here, and follow that with 2 sheet metal doors on the front. Wood doors are just really weak. Once you have more metal, you can add this barbecue for food and slightly more storage with this small box. Now if you're a solo player, 1 bag is enough for now, but it is possible to add a second one here. Now we have a nice 3 foundation starter base. On the front, we'll add these 3 low foundations with 2 raised ones on the sides of this triangle. This will be our bunker entrance, but for now we can enclose the rest. Add 2 half walls to the front, which will give us that classic look. Place the half walls to close off the raised foundations, and then from up here, we're only going to top off the left one. We need walls around the rest with the ceiling on top. Facing the roof goes the door. You can use a garage door if you have one, but I'll just use a metal one for now. It's important to come to this triangle here, so we can add a raised foundation for us to jump up to our entrance. Now we can make our way back inside. Our bunker is sealable, but we're not going to use it just yet. Now a loot room will go here, but once you start getting garage doors, make sure they face the same way as in the video. Remember to do this all at your own pace, but when you do get your first window, it should go on the TC room. Now by this time, you should have a decent amount of metal. Now the first thing you should upgrade is always the roof to stop raiders from opening up the entire top with only 4 rockets. Upgrading the wall and the foundation next to the TC should also be done right after. Now raiders are forced to either 8 rocket the roof or go through the bunker and all the doors. The first proper loot room we'll put in will be right here. The first step is to come outside and build this twig, which allows us to get a half-height floor through the middle. You will also have to remove the sleeping bags to place it. Upgrade it to wood only, not to stone like here. I made a mistake. Sorry. This loot room has 42 rows of storage and looks like this when it's fully built. Now just to show you, if you remove the window and aim here, you can easily access the TC when you need to. Once it's done, remember to come outside and break the twig buildup. Now we are going to build the same loot room here, but we can build the shelf from the inside only. All we have to do is expand around using the first shelf. We don't need the triangles. Now since we need twig to seal the bunker, we will always need 1 stack of wood in the TC regardless. So once again, we can leave these shelves wood, same as we did here. The garage door should face this way so nothing sticks out of it, and we have officially doubled our storage. The cheapest way to raid this is from the roof, right in the middle with 7 rockets. You can finish them off with Explo. Once the roof is off, you have access to the TC and both the loot rooms. This costs roughly 10,450 sulfur. We need to strengthen both horizontally and vertically now. First thing I've done is upgraded the walls and floors around the loot rooms. To finish the upgrading for now, do this wall and the floors. You don't have to do this one, but you can. I also like to place the level 1 right here. As the wipe goes on, you'll want to upgrade the raised foundations, eventually to HQM, for now sheet metal. To seal it, you place the half wall first like this, the triangle, and then upgrade. This next section will be adding honeycomb to the first floor and adding a second floor on top. We can do that from the roof. First upgrade this to HQM. Then from the roof we can add in all the full walls. Once you place all the tops on, we can see from the sky that the first floor is completely entombed in stone. To outline our second floor, we want to close this stone square and go around the sheet metal until we get to this edge, which will be our new entrance soon. We can put 3 frames right away and a floor frame into this one. Then starting at the front, we can start placing sheet metal double doors. 3 should do just fine for the time being. When you place the hatch, I like it to open this way so that it acts as an emergency airlock. Once you do have the hatch's location down, the rest of the roof is pretty straightforward. Once you have this many upgrades, most likely you can afford the garage door for here. Always after a hatch, you should add a door on top. When you do it for this base, you want the door to face the entrance side. Speaking of entrance, let's build ours. So right at our front here, we want to add a low foundation on each side of the jump up, and a raised one on the left. This side is our entrance, so we can place a door frame on both sides. We'll place the doors, and for the top, we want to use 2 half walls and close it. This extra half height is so that we can place traps to stop people from going deep, since this door technically isn't an airlock. The door on the left here leads into this room that we're going to build now. We can place a half height triangle on the raised foundation, which will give us space for some quick drop storage at the end. We can also fit 3 furnaces into this space down here. Now we have a much better entrance, and this also doubles as honeycomb for the raised foundations that make up our bunker. Speaking of our bunker, it's time we strengthen it up to the max. First, both of the raised foundations are HQM along with this half wall. Next, we want to upgrade all of the pieces on top of them to sheet metal. This includes the room and the ceiling. Third, we want to add half walls and tops to each, all sheet metal. To finish it, we add a stone frame with a ladder hatch that faces this way. When it's opened, it works as an emergency airlock. This triangle can now be used for some small furnaces, which easily fit inside. We can even place a window frame with a glass window to seal it off. Our second floor will become much more valuable very soon, so upgrading all of the roof tiles to sheet metal at this time is smart. You can actually skip the one directly above the entrance though. To build up our second floor, we need our level 2 workbench. Now our level 3 will go into this triangle, so with our 2 here, we need to make sure we don't block this window frame. Use the twig as a guide and then we can break it, but make sure you can replace it after. In this square we can add another loot room. Remember, the shelf can remain wood. Add the stone wall frame and then a garage door. Add in your favorite loot room here. You already know which one I use. If we step back, we can see what we have so far. Before we start filling everything in, it's wise to upgrade the following walls to sheet metal. Our door path becomes slightly weaker when we do this though, so we can replace some of the doors with garage doors. Now make sure they all face the same way as shown here. This one is fine as sheet metal, but I do like to add a frame and a garage door here. If you want to have the repair bench very accessible, but closer to the front entrance, the best spot would be right here. As more time passes by, you should be thinking about your level 3 placement. Remember, it will go in this triangle like this. Once you place the 2 boxes under it, you can add in this right wall and upgrade it right to sheet metal, hard side on the right. If you place the level 3 right in the middle, you should be able to rotate it and still fit this window frame in. Then you can seal it. Now since we have that sheet metal wall in, we can add in another loot room. Now if we tried to add this before the level 3, it would have been impossible to place the level 3 after. Once again, we'll have the garage door facing out, which hides the loot room that is behind it now. Now we want to deter a top-down raid, so upgrade these floors to HQM, which are above our core. We'll get the level 3 floor in just a sec. I like to place a sleeping bag here, along with some storage, which doubles as our lift to get into the T3 room, where right now we can upgrade the floor. On the first floor, we have some final work to do. This level 1 will most likely be gone by now, but you could place some sleeping bags in here. Even a third one if you choose, all protected by the bunker. We also want to upgrade all of the walls around the loot to HQM. The final indoor upgrade is this wall. On the outside, we have some finishing touches. We want these two raised foundations to be sheet metal since they are right next to the bunker foundations. Next, we can come around the side and upgrade the following honeycomb to sheet metal. You can skip the stone foundation under them if your terrain is low enough. This last one here can be upgraded if you would like, but stone works just fine here. To upgrade the tops of the honeycomb, you will need to come out of your roof and jump down like this. Now if we look at the outside of the base, it is in its final look. There are only a couple of things left to add inside. The first is adding this door. If you happen to have an armored double door, this would be the place for it. At our front entrance, we can now add in the 3 furnaces and the boxes for quick dropping. We can fit 2 large boxes and 2 small ones in this triangle. Remember, this is only 2 sheet metal doors away from the front, so don't put anything too valuable in them. The top 2 are easily placed with twig build-up to stand on. When this room is finished, so is the base. So that is pretty much the end of the video. If you have anything to add, please let me know in the Discord, link in the description below, or in the comments. By the way, if the audio sounds off, I apologize. I'm currently dealing with hearing problems, hopefully soon to be resolved.